Welcome back to the Menopause Movement Podcast. And this week we are going to show episode 5 of the Dr. Michelle Gordon Show. In this episode, we reminisce with Molly, we have a bit of drama in a group ride, and we visit the Jose Ferrer Winery in Mallorca. Enjoy.
Was that a life-changing trip for you?
Oh, hands down.
Tell me why.
Absolutely. I mean, just to be given that opportunity to do that, I've never done anything like it. I mean, I'd love to travel, but heading to Barcelona and Mallorca, I've never been. So that was a real treat. But just the whole, from the very beginning, when you asked me to be on the show and I trained and got ready for it, and I really got into it. I was like, oh my gosh, I am not gonna blow this. I didn't want to be the little fat boy on a bike, you know, being the last one. But I just wanted to keep up, and I didn't want to disappoint you. I mean, I didn't want to disappoint myself. So it was just fun. It was just, everything about it was life-changing.
Well, I think one of the things that we wanted to show through that adventure and through what we did is that, obviously our lives never end.
Right.
But on top of that, we can still do anything at whatever weight we are.
Yeah, true.
So, if we get the menopausal paunch, okay, or let's say like for me, I put all my physical stuff on hold while I was doing my residency. And so, by the time I got back into physical fitness, I had already put on maybe 50 or 60 pounds.
Right.
And my body was saying, okay, I'm gonna hold this forever, And so at the same time, I'm like, okay, but I'm gonna still do this.
Right.
And I'm gonna try to get fit. And we confuse skinny with fit, and it's not always the truth.
Well, you're like fit. You're like strong as a horse.
Not as a horse, pretty strong.
Well, you're strong.
Yeah.
You're strong. I just don't like the images that are set forth. Is to be beautiful, you have to be skinny. I mean, I think that's why, in part, I created my line of wine, is because I don't want that image set forth for women, going through menopause.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
just like, there's so many things that you have to consider going through menopause. You're plucking black chin hairs, you have the weight gain, you have the memory loss. Those are just symptoms. We can still embrace our lives.
True. What I like to do is look back to the classic art. In Paris, there's this great museum called the Orsay Museum, or Musée d'Orsay, which I can't do French accent. I love that museum because it has a lot of classical art. I mean, France is filled with art. But what I love about the art in there is it always makes me feel good about my figure. Because the women are all curvy and they've got a little paunch. They look like they've had a baby.
Yes.
If I had lived, 200 years ago, well, I wouldn't be making a TV show, but I would have the ideal body.
Right. But why the images, everything's changed. I mean, why can't people embrace that still today?
Because marketing.
It sucks. It's wrong.
Because
it's
marketing.
Just wrong.
We say it's wrong, but I think we're seeing a more of a movement.
Right.
For self-acceptance.
Right.
And you see these bigger supermodels.
Right.
Who are embracing themselves and saying, don't Photoshop me, don't, so that's coming along.
Well, then my dream of being a supermodel could come true, right? Maybe not. Oh, thanks.
I don't know. So one of the things I really loved about getting ready for the show was the physical challenge of riding. Mm-hmm. And what I've tried to do since that time is to continue to work on my power. What I really love is the fact that I found something I like to do.
Right.
Although I will not ride my bike in the cold. I hate the cold.
Yeah.
But I use the trainer, and my power went up 70 watts. I've been able to do a lot more, and I haven't really been out to try to climb again, but I think that when the weather turns, I'll get out there and I'll start climbing. My coach said I'm gonna have the best season ever this year. What I think is important as we age, it's very important to stay active, because the continuing activity is what really keeps our brains going.
Right.
And this is more and more research is showing that the more active we are, the less dementia there is. I think it's also related to diet, but at the same time, this activity, staying active, is so important. Like I said before when I was talking about how I was training, when I was training for surgery, and I wasn't active during that time because, I was just like, well,
little busy.
I was in a residency.
You're a little busy.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
sleep deprived and whatever. And then the first 5 years of my practice, I really, so there's 10 years there that I just really didn't do much. And then I started, I guess in earnest in 2009 is when I really started exercising regularly. And then when we decided to do the bike ride for the TV show, I was like, wow, I really have to get, I was so afraid of those mountains. I was so afraid of them.
Well, I wish I had the same mindset that I had preparing for your show every day. You even said, Molly, just set that goal, just, use every day as a goal, something like that. And it's like, gosh, I wish I could, because I trained hard for that. It was like every morning, every afternoon, and every evening. And I thought, how did I even fit that in with my day job? I mean, how did I, but I found myself waking up extra early, riding in the dark, which scared the heck out of me. I mean, that was really scary. I had one of these things on and I had my bike lights, but I did it. And I rode myself to the gym every afternoon and forced myself to go even further. I'm like, can't disappoint Dr. Gordon. Can't disappoint Dr. Gordon. I mean,
well, here's what I'm going to tell you.
What?
Do you want to be on the next season?
Yeah.
You better start training.
I know, right? See, you've already told me that.
You better start training.
I know.
So it needs to just make it that priority again.
I just need to do it. It's just the whole day job thing has just gotten so intense again. It always, when I want to do something else just kind of gets in the way.
Yeah, but you live in California. You live in California where you can ride year round.
Did you know that our dam almost broke?
I
Come
did.
on. I mean,
did know
rained
that.
and rained and rained and rained.
Lucky California doesn't have a drought anymore.
Not anymore.
Yeah. So when you were training, you were really dieting hard, and you said you were in the best shape of your life. Did you lose any weight?
Like 48 pounds. Let's just say 50 pounds. Like 48 pounds, 50 pounds. And it was a lot. But I mean, I was really strict about, I was told what to eat, when to eat it, how to eat it, and it was, every few hours I was eating. There was a couple different times I got really dehydrated and really sick. But I think that's just because I didn't, as you had mentioned before, hydrate well. But 50 pounds.
You lost 50 pounds, but are you still down 50 pounds?
Do I look like I'm down 50 pounds?
So did you gain it all back?
No.
Okay.
But I gained a good 25 pounds back.
Okay, so here's the thing about diets, right? Diets don't work.
Right.
And this is proof.
Right.
So the only thing that really works if you want to lose weight is a lifestyle change. And I'm a living proof that I have changed my lifestyle, changed my diet, and the weight is I'm still having trouble getting it off.
Right.
But I'm in the best shape of my life.
You are.
I'm still striving to get better.
Right.
And we have to measure our health, especially as we age, I think from a different standard. We're not 20 years old anymore. We're not going to drop weight like that whenever we work out. So I think it's really important that we learn how to accept ourselves and say, okay, let's take little baby steps. Okay, I was able to jump rope just a little bit longer today, or I was able to walk on the treadmill a little bit longer. I was able to take the dogs out and walk, for 15 minutes instead of 10. Little teeny baby steps as we go.
Well, and you've seen a difference in me. You know that I don't body shame. I mean, I'm at that point where, I'm 54 years old, forget it. I mean, if I don't look, we talked about this. It's about, I told you this the other day, if we looked at ourselves the way our friends did, we'd be in perfect shape.
True.
Right?
That's true.
Because you don't look at me as like,
But and the other thing is that I think it's, we live our whole lives in our heads, and we can live in a place of freedom, or we can live in a place of prison.
Right.
And so every time I'm looking in the mirror, I'm saying, oh my God, I'm so fat, I'm so fat, I'm so fat. That's like creating your own hell.
Right, right.
So we have to be more accepting of who we are, so that we can go out and be who we're supposed to be. So you may recall that a few episodes ago, I spoke about how I got my mind ready to be on camera. And what I said to myself was, well, I'm about as fit as I'm gonna be because we've hit the deadline in time. And every time I've seen anybody I know on camera, they look just like they look. It's not like the camera adds 10 pounds or anything like that. The camera is the camera, and I look like I look. And in order to go out and allow myself to be filmed, I said, okay, I'm gonna look like I look, and I'm gonna be myself, and that's the way it is. So what was your experience with that?
Same thing, really. I mean, you can't change the way the camera is going to take you in, right? I mean, you are what you are. I mean, you know, the people that are always doing the selfies and turning them this way and, you know, photoshopping themselves or putting this crazy makeup on them and stuff. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have to be who we are.
Right. Living life to the fullest. I mean, the body type has nothing to do with the way you live your life. I will admit, though, when I was training and I was exercising, I did feel better. So to what you said about diet and exercise, how it changes your mind, too, I mean, I really feel like that was really important, and I'm missing that. And, you know, you talking on the phone with me and texting, I'm like, if it would just stop raining, and you're like, stop making excuses, get on the stationary bike. And I'm like, but I love riding outdoors, and I kind of spoiled myself because when I trained for your show, even though it was 115 degrees in Chico, I was still out there and enjoying being outside.
Did you have a beer after you rode?
No, because I was training for your show. I didn't cheat at all.
Anybody else love a beer after a ride?
Oh, yeah. Who doesn't want a beer, right? Yeah. One thing I did miss, though, was my wine. I am pretty much in love with wine.
When I was training a little heavier than I am now, I know that I felt a lot better, right?
Right.
Did you get any other benefits from the exercise? I mean, you said you felt good, but what does that mean for you?
Oh, yeah. Well, I think that I was sleeping better. I mean, I used to have like these little panic attacks at bedtime, like impending doom almost. I didn't experience that. And the hot flashes, you were the one that told me that estrogen is stored in your fat.
Right.
Why do I always point to my belly when I'm saying estrogen stored in when estrogen is stored? But I did notice that too, though, that I was having less hot flashes and those night sweats. I didn't have them all the time, but I did notice as I exercised more, they were few and few.
I notice that if I do something more strenuous, something that's more difficult for me, that's difficult for me mentally as well as physically, like one of the things I'm learning right now is how to jump rope with alternating feet.
Whoa.
Okay? So, it takes a lot from me. I mean, you know, I didn't jump rope, I always jumped rope with this like the jump, right? So now I'm learning how to do it this way. And what's happening is that when I do that for 30 minutes, I sleep really well that night, and it's like my brain wants to turn off because it takes a lot of focus.
Yeah.
You know, it takes a lot of really, really intense focus to learn how to do something new. And I'm able to sleep a lot better those nights that I do that.
I could not jump rope. And you know exactly why I could not jump rope. The adult undergarments would have to go on. Stress incontinence, my God.
A woman who has stress incontinence can still do strenuous activity. It's just not going to involve jumping, right?
Well,
so one of the alternatives would be just doing high knees.
Okay.
Right? Especially like if you could put ankle weights on, you can still get your heart rate up. You can do squats.
Squats are good. I'm good at that.
Okay, you can do push-ups on your knees.
Okay.
And forget the burpee part.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of ways to do these body weight exercises that don't involve a lot of intra-abdominal pressure, which is what causes the urine to come out in the first place.
Yeah.
So again, that's high intensity interval training that we talked about the other day, and that's now proven to probably be the best exercise to reduce dementia, is to high intensity interval training.
On our way home, we were all very tired, and no one was listening to anyone. We experienced the first meltdown of the trip. It wasn't a pretty sight.
Follow your GPS.
I'm following my GPS, but everybody's saying at a row, okay? I'm trying hard here.
You asked me how I felt about riding in a group. And it sucks, and I never want to do it again for the rest of my life, ever.
It's kind of hard to ride in group.
Are we going this way?
I don't know, where do you want to go?
Yeah, that's what my thing says.
Do you want to go to Alaro? Guys, just get tight if we're going to pull off and not know where we're going.
There?
Hang on.
Okay. Okay.
Where are we going?
You guys, if you're going to pull off,
Watch out, watch out, watch out.
Okay. This is not the way.
Yes, it is. She said we're going right.
This is not the directions.
It doesn't matter.
Hey,
Frenchie, Michelle.
You guys are going off course.
Oh my
Who
gosh.
cares? We haven't been on course yet.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it does if we want to stay on the track together.
I have Michelle telling me, let's go this way. And Michelle, I'm not listening to you anymore because this is not the right way. I'm getting in trouble every time. Then I've got Chrissy saying, we need to turn around the fontaine, or we need to do this, or we need to do that. I just, you know what? I'm like, not enjoying this. It's like, let me ride.
To the right.
Have
you ever
To the
tried
right?
to herd
Okay,
cats?
to
That's
the
what
right.
my course says. Jesus.
Oh my God.
I know.
They don't herd well.
Follow your GPS.
I'm following my GPS, but everybody's saying à la row, okay? I'm trying hard here.
We're not on the Ella Row anymore. That was, they switched all of our tracks back there. There's no communication, and we're with a group of very headstrong women, and everybody wants to go their own way. And I'm just trying to keep us all together, trying to keep us safe. So I'm yelling up, car, get over the whole time. Car back!
Car back.
Get over, guys!
I'm good. I'm getting really pissed now. Stop telling me, okay? I can see what I'm doing. I'm more scared to hear screaming behind me than anything else.
No one can hear you.
I understand she's supervising us when Chris is not directing us. I do understand that. But that was over the top reaction to me. It was unnecessary.
I know she's a big girl, she'll find her way back. I totally was not worried about her at all. But if she got hurt, like we've already seen, there's nobody to help her.
For crying out loud, I'm riding on a bridge and I can hear, stop. So at first I thought you didn't know where we were going. I know the blickety-blick road. I know where we're going to turn because I've done it 3 times. I knew where we were going. And
The
I'm
only
so
problem
worried.
is I knew where we were going too, because I've driven it 5 times.
But the Garmin, I was not following the Garmin. I was following what I've done before.
Yeah. So was I, because the road right there is where we always miss when we're driving. So I was like, it's just too hard
Then
to
there's the park.
communicate. That's why
I know.
we
I know.
can't communicate at all. We don't want to go back the same way we came.
And I just say, yes, we'll stop after the bridge, bridge.
Frenchie, you keep missing the turn.
And at one point, nobody was responding to me, so I said, after the bridge! I just yelled like a maniac. And when we were going down, there was maybe 200 meters of not such a good spot. So I saw, from a distance, I saw that there was the road turning, and I saw a spot in front of a driveway or whatever, and I said, let's stop right there.
You did fine.
No.
You did great.
No, I lost it. I lost my
No.
cool on you, and I was wrong, and I want to
But
apologize for that.
That's my thing.
I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry
to
I
hurt
yelled.
this relationship because I really love you. I do.
You're doing a beautiful job, okay? Because you do. I'm going to pee my pants again.
We've talked about mood swings, and we've talked about emotional lability, and how menopause can really bring emotional lability, and things that are small can become a lot bigger. And the clip that we just saw with Katya and Christy is an example of that. So what happens when we're in perimenopause and menopause, and even sometimes postmenopause, but usually not so much the postmenopause, is that little things can become bigger. And it's important to pay attention to how we're reacting because we can't take that back. The drama that we had between Christy and Katya, we see that the emotional lability of menopause. You have anything to say about that?
I just was stuck. I didn't know what to do because when they stopped and did their thing and you're taking off, I'm like, okay, cool, I could follow Michelle, but then I'd be scared to death that I would lose you because you ride way faster than I do. So I was like, I think I'll just sit here and listen to this until it's time to get up on the bike again. It was hard to listen to that because I don't like drama. And about your words, choosing your words wisely and not being able to take them back. I got to really hold my tongue and watch my tongue. So I just sat there and listened.
Yeah, I just drove away.
And
I rode away,
And
yeah.
you know what? I really wanted to ride away with you, but I really had that panic attack. Like, oh my God, like if I try to follow her, she's going to take a quick left or a quick right and I'm never going to see her again. And I'm going to be like lost in Mallorca.
It's pretty small.
Well, yeah, I'd probably find my way back, but you know me and my memory, so.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
But you remember this pretty well.
The fight?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty, intense.
Indelibly.
Yeah.
Do you remember when we went on that tour of Jose Ferrer in Mallorca?
I do.
What do you remember about that?
A lot of fun. It was really fun. I'm not a winemaker, so it's really fun to go into wineries and have that guy give us the history and take us through, the tunnel and where they store and where they make. And it's just always fun. I love going to wineries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the bottles that were upside down.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun.
Why did he have those upside down?
I don't remember.
No? Yeah.
I just thought it was kind of cool.
Who cares, right?
I think it was because wasn't that they had the special rosé, and it was like they aged it in
Yeah.
bottles upside down.
I think so.
For some reason.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
The
that's-
whole process is great.
You like the wine?
Oh, yeah.
Hey, well let's take a look at that interview since we don't remember it. Hi, Miguel.
Hi.
I'm Michelle.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thanks for having us here. And you said this winery is from 1931?
That's right.
It's-
The family that started this winery comes from a very old tradition of winemaking. The original family came from Barcelona, from Catalonia.
So you get your grapes from everywhere, you make your wine here?
Well, basically we grow them here. Like they're all grown here. Doesn't matter
okay.
if the variety itself is not from here. That doesn't matter. It's all grown here, and not only in Mallorca. It's only grown in this little region. There is a what we call a designation of origin, a DO, and this DO is run by a council, and this council states most of the quality standards for the winemaking. So there must be a minimum percentage of local variety in order to have the DO label on the bottle.
And that's important for
Yes.
selling in this area.
Yes, basically because that's one of the ways the wine has the Mallorcan character.
Let's go look around.
Yeah,
So we're coming upon the newer.
yeah,
So you have New World winemaking now.
that's right.
New World winemaking in an Old World style.
Yes. Well, this is actually from 1996. This is the new side of the cellar, and as you can see here, this is where we have the newest or the more modern stainless steel tanks. These are the ones that we use for fermentation right now.
All right. And
Yeah.
how many liters does one of
Well-
these tanks hold?
Well, 35,000 each.
So once it's fermented, then you set it here, and then
Yeah.
you barrel it after that?
Basically, this is just like a half step in between fermentation and anything that might come after, for example, aging or bottling or filtering, whatever. It
Okay.
needs to be done. So if you want, we can just go downstairs. We'll go to see the underground cellar, the place where we age the wines, which is actually
Great.
also very nice.
So we're here in this cellar with the barrels, and
Yeah.
I see all these bottles upside down. This is Brut Rosé. Can you
Yeah.
tell me about that?
Yes, of course. Well, this is one of the two types of sparkling wine that we make here. We make a white and a rosé, and
This is how you finish it in the bottle?
well, would be like the halfway in the whole process, because first of all we have to do a first fermentation in the tank upstairs as if it was a regular wine, but then a second one in the bottle.
Oh, yes. Everybody ready to try some wine? They're excited. Let's go have some wine. What did we do after Jose Ferrer? Do you remember? Did we ate the food there? Then did we go out to dinner that night?
Oh my God, right? Really? You're asking me?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
Okay, want some memory lapse, Merlot?
Do you remember the interview much?
No, I remember the food
I
and the
remember
wine.
the food. I remember the food and the wine. I don't remember the interview much. Maybe we should. I guess
don't.
maybe we're having memory lapses.
Maybe.
Brain fog, menopause.
Yeah, yeah.
So let's take a look at that. I've always said the best wine to drink with this food or that food is the wine you like with it. After tasting the wine earlier, I knew we would all enjoy ourselves. Oh, look what we have here. This looks beautiful.
If you want, I'll just explain really briefly the wines that you're going to be tasting.
Okay.
And the first one, as you can see, is the sparkling wine. Then the first red you will taste is the Veritas Viñas Veas. It's a crianza, so it means that it's already a bit old, but not too much. Third one you're going to taste is the Veritas Blanc. This is the only white wine that we age here in the cellar. And the last one, the oldest one, obviously. You have the Reserva Veritas. This is a 2007 wine. It's aged for 2 years in French oak. This is the perfect wine to drink or to combine with any type of like powerful meal. You know?
Any sort of meal.
Yeah.
Wine's good with any meal, right?
No, I have to tell you, wine is best when
Yeah.
you like it. Really
That's
is.
true.
The best wine is the wine you like.
That's true.
Anything you like.
Mallorcan wines are not famous for being wines that can be kept for a long, very, very long time. But that doesn't mean that you cannot keep them for a long time. It just depends on. Yeah.
It's been really great tasting all the wines. And Miguel, thank you so much for having us. It's been really great being here.
so much.
So the process at Jose Ferrer, did that remind you of anything?
Well, it did. I mean, I'm really lucky to have my own custom wine maker for Mood Swing Wines. It's intriguing to see what they did at Jose Ferrer because it is similar to what Bob does back home. I don't have my hands in it though. I mean, to create Mood Swing Wines was one thing, and to find a really great custom winemaker was another, and to have my visions of what my label should look like put on a label. So I get to do that. You know, I get to be the creative part behind Mood Swing Wines, but being in any winery is always fun to see how they operate and what they produce.
Go to moodswingwines.com and buy some wine. So I thought this was going to be the last time I saw you.
But it's not.
No, you're coming back again in
Yay!
episode 8.
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, we had such a good time. I mean, we had a good time doing this. We had a great time in Mallorca.
Yeah.
It's just great that you've become, such a good friend.
I know.
And I'm glad that
I
you've
agree.
come in.
Yay, thanks.
Thanks for coming. You're welcome. Hey, thanks for watching the Menopause Movement podcast and joining in. I really appreciate you. And if you liked it, please head on over to iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts and leave us a positive review. That will really help us out. And don't forget to sign up for the Menopause Workshop. You can sign up at menopauseworkshop.com. I'll see you there.